All right. Hey, everyone. Mark here, Mark P Markets. Thanks for joining me for another Bitcoin day trade setup session that we're going to be looking for setups on Bitcoin and for the US market open price action analysis. This is where we also at the same time look at the bigger picture to see if there is anything, any notable changes worth mentioning, which can help us adjust our expectations, build perspective, and perhaps find a swing trade idea. But no, I'm not too excited about that this week. All right. So anyway, let's get this thing started, shall we? Again, thank you all for joining me. All right. So this is for educational purposes only. For investment advice, please consult a licensed investment advisor. Okay. Now let me just move my microphone here. My sound quality isn't the greatest. I need to fix that at some point, but that's going to require a new microphone. Anyway, all right, so now a couple of things before I get into the charts. Again, if you're new to the stream, you know pretty much how this works. I'm going to evaluate Bitcoin first on a 30-minute chart. We're going to gain some day trade perspective, okay? And then we're going to look at the bigger picture, and then we'll scan through some markets, see what's going on, in the world, and then we'll be monitoring the Bitcoin chart to see if there's a setup or perhaps a trade that may be in play, okay? Now, quick announcement. There was another attempt yesterday to fake my account. All right, there was another impersonator. They're probably coming to this YouTube channel, gathering some information, and then going in there, and they're reaching out to people. Okay, so I set up a warning channel, all right, which explains, what's going on. And basically, they use my profile, they use my picture, and they use my name, Mark P Markets, but the unique identifier is not the same. Okay. I want to make this clear in case you don't like to read, because a lot of people they're not going to read that warning channel. But my unique identifier is 4103. Okay. So the only thing you should see if you get a contact from me, it should be just my name, Mark P Markets, followed by parentheses, followed by the pound sign 4103, and nothing else. No other numbers, no other letters. Okay, they can use 4103 and then the real identifier after it. So, 4103, that must be him. Don't be ignorant, please. They're trying to rob you, all right? And they come out with a nice friendly message. I don't have time to send out friendly messages like that. So please, it's not me. Make sure you check the profile. Also, the date when I joined the server, okay, is January 14th, 2021. Any other date, that means it's not me. Okay, so please check these things. It's very easy to see when they contact you. There's like a little profile thing that should show up on the side. Okay, and you can see that information. If not, find that profile, click on, right click on it, read the profile, make sure it's me. Okay, but most of the time it's not going to be me. Also, other moderators in the chat or admins, no one is going to contact you for any reason. So if you get a strange contact, oh, I'm a moderator, blah, blah, blah. And again, check the real moderator. You'll see them on the list. It'll say moderator on the user list. Check the profile, look at their unique identifier, make sure it matches. But most likely it's a fake because there's no reason for the moderators to reach out to you. Okay, same with the robots. Okay, unless it's a security bot asking for verification. Otherwise, and check that too, just in case. Check that unique identifier. But a robot is not going to come out and ask you a question. A robot is not going to ask you for payment information or personal information. Please don't be fooled by this. Okay, if you are fooled and you are robbed, it's not my responsibility. I'm making every effort to warn you. All right. So anyway, all right. So I had to get that out of the way. Now, also real quick, if you're looking for a Forex broker or CFD broker, you're looking to try someone else out, you can check out 8Cap Partners. They're an Australian-based Forex and CFD broker dealer, and they're regulated there in Australia. They offer a wide variety of instruments that you can trade. They're reworking their integration with the TradingView platform, so that will be available again soon. Okay, and I plan to do some examples using their platform here during these sessions. I just don't have that set up properly yet, but once I do, we're going to actually take trades, on Bitcoin, and there's going to be a spread involved. And I want you to see what we contend with as far as when it comes to MetaTrader, which again, I'm not a big fan of MetaTrader at all, for a number of reasons. especially when it comes to day trades, and you will see why. Okay, so anyway, just wanted to mention that there's a link in the description portion of this video. If you're interested in opening the account, you can also still get my training program for free if you deposit $500 and trade one standard lot. Okay, please, if you go that route, listen to what I'm saying. If you go that route, contact me, let me know that you are going that route so that I can follow up and make sure that all the steps are correct along the way, and that the information that they give me is matching. Okay, so please let me know. If you open an account anyway, also just let me know. If you're not interested in the training or you've had the training and you just want to have an account with them, just let me know. So I know what's going on, and I know what to expect when I talk to them. All right, so anyway, so that's that. Check out my training program at markpmarkets.com if you'd like to know how I do this analysis. All right, and if you're not in the Discord community, join it. There's a link in the description portion as well. If you join as a free member, you will not be able to type text anywhere, because for these reasons of impersonators and spamming, there's no permission to text. You can see things, but I've turned off the signal channels. Okay, it was free for a while. Also, there's no more free trial. Okay, so you're going to have to just go by the trade history channel and see recent trades that were closed, whether they were a profit or a loss, and that will give you an idea of what's going on in the signal channels. I'm not able to do the free trial because of I guess technical limitations. All right, I tried it and it turned into a mess. So anyway, all right, so with all that being said, let's get into the charts, shall we? Hey, Jeff. Okay, Alex, yesterday you said that the regulation would be very bearish. I would argue that it's actually very bullish in the longer term, because more investors would have courage. Well, that could be, right, if they can create some more confidence and stability, but initially it's a bad thing. Okay, initially it's not very encouraging, because it usually means, like, for example, if altcoins are treated as securities, meaning they're treated like stocks, which many are, then there's going to be all this regulatory stuff that's going to be limiting, usually a lot of limitations and things, that you would think would be beneficial for the retail trader, but often these limitations are not very beneficial often, and it makes things usually harder. Okay, like there may be more requirements to open accounts and all kinds of other stuff, and they add a lot more friction to the retail trader. Although they want the retail trader, they want more of them, of course, because that's where all the money comes from. But typically, regulation favors the industry, not the retail trader. That's always been the case. I mean, look where we are with the stock market right now. Okay, at one time, the stock market was level, where meaning you could actually have the same priority as a market maker, and it was possible to make a market as a retail trader. It was possible. I was active in those days. Okay, and because of regulation, that is no longer possible. And that's because the market makers and all the people that own these politicians, which is most of them, they've steered the regulation in their favor. So now today, there's no level playing field. There's absolutely no way you can make a market as a retail trader. Okay, all that profit potential that was available at that time, which I saw, I mean, people were making so much money because of that. It's gone. And that goes into the pocket of the market maker. You can thank the regulators for that and your local politicians. So it's not a good thing. It took away all of that opportunity for the retail trader. So yeah, stock trader, sure, the stock market is safe and blah, 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 blah. Right, but it's made everything extremely efficient and random. Not good if you're trying to be like a day trader, or if you're trying to be a professional trader. Not good at all. Okay, so, and I saw how the whole industry changed as a result of that, and that was regulation. Back in 2000, the year 2000, around there, there was the Clinton administration, of all administrations, actually removed some regulation, and that's what made Forex possible even to begin with, retail Forex, just so you know. So usually taking away regulation, and in the beginning, there was a lot of opportunity, right? So in the beginning, it was good when they took rules away, not put more new rules on. right? The new rules that I'm talking about really occurred after 2008. That's all those rules have made this game basically impossible for the retail trader, okay, and not worthwhile, especially on the day trade time frame. Really not worthwhile. The amount of time that you have to invest to figure out, oh, like what I do here, like I'm, kind of think, oh yeah, I kind of get that. Well, you don't. It's not that I'm not showing you things, but you don't have the processing capability yet to understand. It's because you don't grasp certain concepts, and that's the problem with this, and that's why I don't like to show day trades, because people think, oh yeah, I'll just draw a level and I'll just take a trade, and it's a lot. There's more thought process involved. Okay, that not technical stuff. It's more thought process, or more inner game type of thing. Anyway, all right, let's talk about this, man. I'm talking too much today, and look, no one is following me. All right, meanwhile, there's morons out there with 2,000-3,000 followers on a live stream. All right, so this is we're going to start out with a 30-minute chart here, right? I'm going to make the chart bigger. All these lines, right? All these levels from previous, I'm going to erase some of them because there's no need for them on this chart. They're not in play. Your charts should be clean all the time, okay? Which means you remove these levels. They're no longer in play right now. If those levels become in play again, then we redraw them. All right, but here's the thing. So we're only going to work with this one level, which again, I drew that yesterday, and that was based on, partly on this. And in yesterday's stream, I talked about how lower lows were favored. Well, we got the lower low, but look, it only went to a point, okay? And look, it consolidated here, okay? And then this. So I don't know what that's about. I don't follow news, right? I completely ignore that nonsense, but I'm suspecting that there was some kind of positive news. That's typically what causes a move like this. Maybe some kind of FTX thing. I have no idea. I'm just guessing. All right, but the point is, here's what I see. You guys see a vertical line, and you guys get excited off of that. Here's what I see. I see that there was this shorting structure over here. A lot of people short, and a lot of people caught. That's what I see. All right, so a lot of people caught means, for one, that this is very temporary, because once they're all out of the system, then the bigger picture kind of takes over again. So this is not very meaningful. Don't get excited about, oh, Bitcoin is rallying, blah blah blah. Don't get excited. It's just a short squeeze. Number one. Number two, look where it found resistance. Okay, no surprise there. You shouldn't be surprised, especially people who have taken my training program. Now, here's an interesting thing. There was a resistance here, okay? And it blew right through it. This is why, see this, like this right here, blew right through it. There should have been some hesitation right there. There was none. It just cleared like it wasn't even there. That's the random nature of the market. There's nothing you can do about that, okay? That's why it's not a good idea to step in front of that short, because, oh, I just put a sell limit order right there and I'm going to make all kinds of money. No, you're not, because you run the risk of this. And if it clears through like that, it goes straight to your stop if you have a stop. Otherwise, you open yourself up to enormous risk, right? That's why we wait for setups and for confirmation. Now, this is a 30-minute chart. We went straight to the resistance, okay? We got a sell signal on the 30-minute chart. We had this sort of an inside bar. It's not an inside bar, but it's almost. Took out the low of that bearish candle, and now we have the sell signal in effect, and now it's kind of hesitating. All right, so what does this mean on the day trade time frame? This is we're just gathering information to formulate a loose game plan. That's what we're doing. I'm not going to I'm not going to place trades on the 30-minute chart. I do want to try to get these day trade signals into the chat room, by the way. I'm still, trying to figure out the best way to do that. Okay. I'm not going to be able to do it at the same time while I'm explaining this stuff. I'm just not going to be able to do that. So anyway, so here's the thing. As far as our game plan for day trades, I'm thinking this, right? Either we pull back to this level right here for a long, possibly. You say, but long, that's the middle of the range, right? But it's still a level. And for day trades, we have to be a little more flexible, all right? So yes, it could be random, but that's a good spot for a higher low and another high attempt, right? And that could be a worthwhile trade. So that's a possibility. It doesn't mean I'm going to take it. What if it blows right through this level again? I'm not going to get involved in that. So we'll see. Okay, we'll see if price gets here. We'll see how it behaves. We'll see if we get a setup, and there may be a possibility there. Otherwise, I mean, I can look for. I'm going to look at the 5-minute here in a moment, and we may have a short to take right now. We'll see. All right, or if we can retest this level again and develop another sell signal there, that's another potential short. Okay, again, for day trade profit targets, we're looking to make maybe 100 points, maybe 150 points. The way this thing is moving, I mean, risk is on the average on this time frame, right? When I go to the 5-minute, risk has been about what, maybe 50, 60, maybe 80 points. So we want to aim for at least that, or maybe 1.5 times that. An ideal situation would be double that, right? If I risk 60, it would be nice to make 120 if the market is willing to provide that. Okay, so let's go to the 5-minute chart here, and let's change this thing here to the let's go to our perp chart, right? Bitcoin perp. Again, you switch to whatever chart you use, whatever exchange you use. I just picked Binance because it's at the top of the list. I don't like Binance, by the way. Okay, so maybe if they paid me, I'd like them a little bit more, but I don't like them. So here's the thing. So we have this situation, right? We talked about the levels. Now look at the structure. So the most relevant momentum, right? It's that momentum for whatever that movement was. So we can argue that yes, this is generally bullish. So that's going to emphasize the support level, like I talked about, right? Okay, cool. So we know that our resistance levels is in play, and this is our other resistance level right there. So with all that being said, if I go short, I'm fighting this structure. Now this structure doesn't carry a ton of weight, but it still may be in play. Okay, until we start clearing, we have to clear this support. We need to break that before we can start to say, oh, okay, that bullish structure is probably not as effective as it was, or it's no longer in play, right? But we can't say that right now. So what to do? Well, as a day trader, I should lean at this moment. I should sort of lean on the long side. Why? Why should I lean on the long side? Because we have this structure and it's still in play. Again, it can change, but that's what I'm looking at. So, so I'm going to consider the long signal, not the short signal in this area. Now that's actually taking place right now. Let's see what we have here. But I'm not going to chase this. So here's what I want to see. I want to see a test of this level. That's what I want to see. If this thing turns into a long signal right from here, it's going to be highly aggressive. Okay. In fact, it's trying to. We're going to have to note it, and we're going to have to do something with it, because I have a limited window here of time. So if a less a lower quality signal shows up, let's experiment with it. Again, this is on paper. So I'm going to give you a price. The price is 114. So we're going to say 120. Okay, we're going to say 120. Actually, no, we'll say 115. We're almost there. 113, 114, 113 half. All right, so we touch 115. This thing is in. Okay, so 115 is going to be the long. We're at 110. So again, I want to see this thing. I want to see it go into it. We're at 113, 114. Well, there it goes. 115 long. Okay, so that's the long entry. We're targeting this area up here. What price is this up here? 214. It's 100 points. Okay, that's reasonable. That's a reasonable target. Now risk is going to be defined from here, 1633. So that's going to be, what is that? That's less than 100 pips. It's going to be like what, 70 pips or 80 point. I keep saying pips. I mean points. Okay, so let's just to keep it simple, let's just say 100 points. Okay, just so we'll say that the stop is at 16,015 right here. 014. So we're going to say the stop is right. Oh, let me put a line there. Hold on. Okay. Now again, what I'm describing here. It's a very aggressive trade, and it means the chances of it following through are going to be low. But that's where the stop is going to be for now. Okay. We have to exit earlier. We'll see. Again, take this on paper if you take it. This can turn into a loss. This is not the greatest location for this type of situation. But we'll see. Basically, it's a bet that this structure continues. And if it can work its way up to there, great. Now, we're in the middle of a holiday week. And this is something I mentioned it yesterday. Price action and volume, all that stuff typically tends to get very erratic. And the volume just gets smaller and smaller, especially going into tomorrow. Like, forget it. Don't waste your time. Like right now, like today, I normally trade S&Ps. I'm not even going to bother today. I'm not even going to open up the platform. All right. Because I know better. So I'm just going to leave it alone. Right. I'll look at the S&Ps again next week, but I'm not touching them. So we're going to monitor the 5-minute there. Right. We'll see how that trade plays out. And now we can start talking about the bigger picture. Wow. I mean, look, talk about low volume. I only have 9 people following. I usually have double that, watching on this time. I guess no one's interested on YouTube. Again, everyone goes away. All right. It's the holidays. All right. Okay. No problem. Hey, Han, good to see you. Hey, Han, I appreciate you helping me out with that change. I saw that and thank you. Thank you for making that effort. Okay. So I'm going to send you an email. All right. Anyway, but thank you, because you're going to have to. I don't like to talk about payment stuff here, because you know why? These clowns, they're watching and they see what I say, and then they try to use that in the server, right, to try to get people to pay them. So I'm not going to talk about that here, but I will send you an email. Okay. Tom, I prefer. That's interesting. Bill, that's a very interesting quote. You learn something new every day. I have to agree with it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, look, again, when it comes to regulation, generally, it has some, like if the markets, like if something like if FTX was regulated, for example, like reasonable regulation, perhaps this situation with all that fake money on their books would not have occurred, right? I mean, when we had a lot of these fake situations back in the year 2000, many people don't remember. They used to be a common term back then. It used to be called cooking the books. That's what and it was just accepted. Oh, the company's cooking the books. They all cook the books. That was a common thing. Well, that changed after a few companies turned. It was a very similar to type of like the FTX situation. It was very similar. Back then, a lot of companies were just faking their numbers, and there was no accountability. It was all kinds of. It was a mess, and these were legitimate stocks that were on exchanges. Okay, so so now you don't have to worry about those things. So was that a good thing or a bad thing that they regulated them? Well, it was basically a good thing in a way, but a lot of the regulation took away enormous opportunities that the retail trader had at one time. Okay, and I was part of that. I saw all that, but I was too inexperienced to really capitalize on it. But now thinking back, now everything makes sense to me. Okay, especially with the type of advantages that we had back then. So anyway, okay, so let's move along here. Yeah. So yeah, it's good in some ways, but it's generally bad. Okay, it's generally not a good thing for the retail trader generally. Okay, so let's go back now. Let's look at the bigger picture on Bitcoin. That trade looks good right now, right? Okay, cool, nice job. So look at the situation here on the bigger picture, right, on the daily chart. Look at this candle. See that? So yesterday, this thing looked like it was going to zero. And I'm sure a lot of people were reacting. I mean, I was talking, so, hey, this thing's looking bearish. All right, great. But, and I think Sean was in here, and Sean was short. Hopefully, and I know he locked something in at 15.8. I don't know what he's done with the rest of the position. But here's the thing. This is a risk that you face when you go into a support, right? And this is why, if you're not short, like the sell signal on that was basically, it was based on 16.3, okay? If you're not shorting around there, and that was aggressive to begin with, and you're shorting here, you're taking enormous risk, all right? And this is the risk. Here it is, short squeeze. So now, volume dries up. Too many people are short. Like I said, Captain Obvious, they all get short, and now they all get stuck. Now you're stuck in this situation, right? That's why I don't like shorting those lows. I'm not a breakout trader at all, especially on this time frame, on the bigger time frame, right? So if this candle closes like this and we take out the high, that's an inside bar. That will be a buy signal. You may see a squeeze, okay? That squeeze may take a few days to play out, but the target area would be up here. So if you go long for something like that, for one, it's an ultra aggressive long. You're fighting a lot of things on the bear side, but it doesn't mean this thing can't rally 2,000 points. Short squeezes are irrational. It's a lot of traders caught on the wrong side. They're all trying to get out at the same time. It's not the beginning of a bull market. Don't make that mistake. The ideal level to be going short is here, okay, the 18K area. So that's why, for a swing trade short, that's what I'm looking at. And if I see it and I see the setup, I will call another Bitcoin short. I mean, the one from 20,250 worked out. The one before that, Stian remembers, 18.8, whatever, that got squeezed. Okay. And that was a loss. So I was basically on the right side, but there was an irrational short squeeze. Got stopped out. I got it back in. There was a little pain involved. And then that one basically made the money back. Okay. So that's going to happen. Anyway, this can turn into another short squeeze, and I will mention it. Maybe I'll put the trade idea out in the signal room as a very aggressive swing trade long. I don't think I will personally take that one, but I'll make the call, just like I made this call right here. Okay, that was an aggressive trade. Look at that. It's almost at the target. What are we at right now? 200. Okay, so basically we're almost up 100 points, right? 215 will be the level. Someone must have heard me. See how it just backed off a bit? Oh, sell this thing. Sell it. I'm joking. They don't hear me. So 215 is the level, right? 215. This thing goes to 215. I mean, even at this point, if it hesitates, this is where you should start being aware of what's going on, okay? This is a really nice 5-minute close, by the way. That's a very nice 5-minute close. Now, this candle, which just opened, we have to see how this closes. This is a tough thing. Like, what do? Do you get out? Do you react to this? It's usually not a good idea. So there's a couple of things you can do if you want to adjust. For one, you can do nothing and say, well, I'm just going to let this thing play out. My stop is in place. If it goes there, it goes there, and I lose 80 points or 100 points, right? We said 100 points, and that's it. So you're still willing to accept that risk. If you're not willing to accept that risk, you can say, you know what? I'm going to put the stop at break even, okay? And I'm going to turn this into a risk-free trade. There's a very high chance you're going to get stopped out, but you don't lose anything, okay? So you gave back profit. That losing profit does not count as a loss, okay? The money that was at risk is a loss. If you mitigate that, if you stop that from being from that loss, then you've mitigated a loss. So giving this back is just, just giving back money that's not yours. So you have that choice. You can put the stop to break even. Now that's a tricky thing. There's no like formula for when should I put the stop at break even. There's no formula, but you do want the market to at least kind of almost be at its target. I mean, that's you can use that as an idea. It's almost there and it's kind of hesitating. So maybe you want to mitigate the risk at that point. Okay. But again, there's going to be times where it goes right to your stops you right out, turns right around and goes right to the target. That is going to happen. Markets are random. There's no way around that. Okay. So you just have to accept that's how the game is played. All right. So let's see how this candle, we have 3 minutes for this candle to close. Now, can this turn into a sell signal? Yeah, it can turn into a conflicting signal. If this thing closes red and the next candle takes out the low, right, that's actually would become a sell signal off of a noted resistance level. All right, we know that this is a resistance level and it got rejected like right away. So it's behaving theoretically how it should. We shouldn't be surprised to see this, right? So you go, oh, wow, you could have gotten out right at the top there. It never actually went to its target. It came close. What's the high? 207 was the high. So we missed it by like 8 points or whatever. It's going to happen. Okay. So, there'll also be times when it blows right through and keeps going and the thing goes all the way up to 250. I got out too early. You can't be swayed by those feelings. It doesn't matter. You can't have feelings about this stuff. right? Because you're playing a random game. It's like playing a slot machine. You can't have feelings about it. Again, like I always tell people, there is no skill to this. This is a game of chance, right? And one of the biggest mistakes you could make is thinking that this is a game of skill. I've made that mistake for 15 years. I wasted a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of everything because I thought this was a game of skill. All right. The sooner you can accept that this is a game of chance, the better off you will be. People think like when I say that, it sounds very simplistic, but it has very significant meaning. Okay. Game of skill means the more you learn, the better you should get. Right. Game of chance means the more you learn, nothing changes. It's still flipping a coin. That's a game of chance. 15 years into this, I had a lot of knowledge and I still couldn't make any money. Okay. I couldn't make any significant money and I couldn't make consistent money. And I had a lot of knowledge. If this was a game of skill, basically I should have been able to make something more regularly, maybe a few years into this. Just like, you become an auto mechanic, you learn how to repair a car. And over the years, you get better at repairing the car. You become faster, more efficient, and you can demand more money for repairing the car. Even though you have a marketable skill, even as a beginner mechanic, you're still going to get paid something. Even though you may not repair that car very good, you're still going to get paid, right? Something. Then you start getting your own customers. You open up your own shop. That's a skill. This is not a skill. All right. So please keep that in mind. All right. Everyone tries to paint this, oh, you're going to be a trader. Call yourself a gambler, because when people think of gambling, they don't think of a skill, right? So people don't like to call themselves gamblers. I'm not a gambler. I'm a professional. I'm a card risk mitigator or something. They don't want to use the word gambler, right? Oh, you're a gambler. Oh, I'm not going to go out on a date with him. Ew, he's a gambler, right? So you don't say that, right? Anyway, think of yourself as a gambler, because that's what we're doing. Anyway, all right. So the candle closed. I know I'm going on rants today. I only have 9 people here watching me. Going on rants today. Let's see. Look, so this candle, not a good close. Let's see how this new one continues. The low of this candle is 16,150. So again, it gives us a new piece of information to consider. If it takes out that 150, that becomes actually a sell signal. It's a conflicting signal. That's an opportunity to get out, okay, and take a small profit. That would basically be like a 40-point profit. I'm just approximating the numbers here, but it's better than a loss. So that's one possibility, and you're mitigating your risk and you're getting out with a little bit of green. All right. You can also put your stop at break even and say, hey, I'm willing to give back those 40 points for the chance of this thing breaking to a new high. You can do that. Okay. And then if it goes to break even, you lose nothing, which is a risk-free trade. There's nothing wrong with risk-free trades, or you can let it go to the full stop, which, you're willing to lose 100 points. Only you can make that decision. Okay. And then you make the decision, and then the market is going to do what it's going to do. Everyone instead here. So there's the break. Okay. So for the record, I'm getting out. All right. So out 141 out. All right. So that was a price that I saw. I would, market order out 141. So long from 15 to 40. What is that? It's like 30 points. Okay. 30 points. And now I don't have to worry about any more risk. I'm flat. I'm not going to short this thing. If we were flat, we could have considered this a short signal if we were flat going into it, but we were not. We were long. I don't like to flip, so I'm not flipping. I took the exit because, again, and why wasn't I willing to give that more of a chance? Because this is coming off of a resistance and it's a failed high. So there's a good chance that this thing is going to break, all right? And then all that other stuff. So now we're just going to watch this thing. So I'm out, all right? 30 points. Hey, whatever. It's better than zero. It's better than negative. Okay. So we'll see how that goes. Again, if I see another support development, right, something else develops a support, perhaps I get back in on the long side. Why am I still harping on the long side? Because this structure has not been compromised yet, right? This structure is not compromised yet. So, it's just, this is a risky place up here, and I don't want to take these risks, especially when, we're watching this as a group and some people may be taking these trades for real. All right. So I want you to understand the thought process. But there were a number of options there. There were a number of choices. I chose the more conservative one. That's what I do. All right. So let's see what else we got here. Okay, cool. All right. Okay. So now let's now talk about other markets while we're waiting for Bitcoin to do something a little more interesting. So we talked about Bitcoin in the bigger picture. You guys are clear on that, right? Let's take a look at the bond market. Always take a look at the bond market every day. You should look at this thing every day. Doesn't mean we're going to have a meaningful conclusion every day, but you should at least see what is going on. Okay. So look, this resistance still in play. Like I said, all this price action here, this is meaningless holiday price action. It's meaningless, means nothing. Nothing has changed in the bond market. Don't make any judgments. Don't say, well, it's a high or low. The trend has changed. Please don't be a novice. Don't be Captain Obvious. Nothing has changed. As long as this resistance stays intact, nothing has changed. Bonds are still generally bearish. I anticipate bonds to be testing lows over the next few weeks. Now, what I anticipate could be wrong, but that's what I anticipate. Is that an opinion? I guess it is an opinion, but I'm willing to change that opinion very quickly if the market proves otherwise. Okay? The market has to make the argument. The market has to prove, right? I want to see the proof, and then I'll change. Until then, I suspect we're going to test that low. And having that sort of mentality, I guess you can call it a temporary opinion. Having like these temporary opinions keeps me on the right side more often than not. And right side meaning sometimes it keeps me out of stuff where normally, you would take a long somewhere because, oh, it looks good, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, you're not respecting the bigger picture. And I recognized that, like that kind of thought process kept me out of longs since the peak of the stocks. Okay, Bitcoin. So here's a situation here. Look at this. Why I don't like to flip. Pin bar, bullish pin bar. Okay, it gave us that conflicting signal, turned right around. So what does that mean? We're still fooling around in this resistance. I'm not going to take this long. I'm not taking that long. All right, even though there's a pin bar. I don't like the location of the pin bar. That's not where I want to see the pin bar. I want to see the pin bar lower. So if you, so this is how you benefit from something like this. If you never got out, see, I chose to exit. If you never got out and you stayed long because you put your stop at break even, then you'll be able to sit through things like this. If this thing continues to rally, you're like, see, I'm a genius. I stayed in it. Right. Well, the market, it was just nice to you. Okay. That's the only way you really can benefit. People say, but isn't there like an oscillator or something? Isn't there some way I could know with some certainty that, I can? No, it's random. You can flip a coin and you're going to get a similar result. So you can give the market a chance and see if the bigger picture continues to assert itself, right? It's trying to, or you have your full stop, which means you're going to be able to tolerate a lot of noise, even if it goes, fools around back at your break-even point. I would rather be out. I don't have to worry about this at all. I don't care if it rallies another 200 points from here. It doesn't matter. There'll be other buying opportunities. Okay, that's the way I look at it. So I don't look at this as a buying opportunity, even though, this is way too aggressive because of the location. I don't like this location. There's been selling over here, okay, and there was an attempt over here. So someone is aware of something. All right, that's why I don't trust that at all. I could be wrong, but I'm not willing to take the chance. So there's the next buy signal. I'm not touching it. I'm not even going to draw the lines on the chart. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. I'm not going to buy into resistance. This is, again, a place to be considering taking your profit if you never got out of the original trade. All right, and again, why I don't imagine if I flipped and went short. If we had gone short that originally, if we were flat and then we shorted that, we would be looking at a loss right now. Okay, so please keep that in mind. There we go, back into the target area. See how that works? All right. With the day trade on Bitcoin starts running, is it also a good option to look at similar coins? No. When you're looking at a day trade for Bitcoin, Bitcoin is the leader. Okay. Similar coins they're only going to confuse you. If you're looking for a market relationship, look at the S&P, look at the NASDAQ. Okay. Those are the leaders. Those lead Bitcoin. If there's any type of leadership, not altcoins. So, like for example, here's the S&P. If we look at an S&P, I'm willing to bet the S&P is probably looking bullish on the 5-minute. What a guess! I must be psychic. Ooh, look at that. All right, so that reached its target. Okay, So you can say I was shaken out by this move here, but I wasn't willing to take the risk. So I still got away with 40 points or whatever, 30 points. I could have gotten away with 100 if I was just a little more patient, but I was not willing to hold that. Okay. I was not willing to watch that thing go to back to break even. I wasn't willing to take the stop. So I got away with 30 points. If you had held on, you would have gotten 100 points. It doesn't always work out that way. All right. Just so you know, markets are random. But, look at the S&P. Okay. Look at this move. I mean, it's not exact with Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is doing this right now. S&P is pulling back slightly. But if you want to look for leadership, look for it there. Okay. That's called relative. That's called inter market analysis, where you're comparing two markets. But watch the stock market, not altcoins. Okay. All right. So now target reached on that day trade. Now, as you can see, even with all the experience I have, was my management the best? Well, I didn't get the best outcome, right? I wasn't able to stay in for the full target. Why? Because I wasn't willing to take the risk. If you were willing to take the risk, oh, that's the wrong thing. If you were willing to take the risk, you got paid. Does that make sense? You see how that works? So was it a charting thing that really, was it a charting thing? Was it an oscillator? Was it some kind of other magical gimmick? No. It's all about your thought process. Okay. So all right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, cool. So that's the now speaking of the S&P, let's look at the S&P on the bigger picture here, and then I'm going to wrap this up momentarily. Hopefully you took your money off the table. Anyone take that? Just give me some feedback. Anyone take that trade and be honest. If you took the trade, have you exited on that earlier conflicting signal, or were you willing to hold it? Be honest. Okay, so now while you're answering that, look at this Bitcoin. Look at the S&P situation on the bigger picture. People were asking me on Monday, yesterday, is this thing a short? Is this thing a short? And, while the location is a short, this is definitely a location to be open to a short idea. The structure, this price action is not bearish. Okay. So I suspect the S&P may squeeze a little higher, especially we have this nonsense holiday sentiment mode, which, it's just nonsense. And everyone feels good and everyone, nonsense. And that can basically have an effect on the market. So I'm not very optimistic about shorting the S&P when I see something like this. If I was short, I'd be looking to get out most likely, because something that's weak should not linger like this. At a resistance, it should reject. That's not a rejection, that's lingering, and then you get a conflicting signal over here. So there may be a little more bullishness in this thing, but this is not a bull market. This is not any kind of trend reversal. It's just irrational behavior, most likely. All right. I don't care what news comes out. I don't care what company says what. That's all just meaningless nonsense. Okay. It leads to reactions. You need to separate. If you're like one of these people that is still hooked on the news, I can't help you. Okay. If you can't cut yourself off from the news, then you have a control problem. You're incapable of controlling yourself or your emotional state. That's what it is, because news is completely useless. I keep telling you. And if you need, that means you need some sort of control. You're grasping for control and you're looking in the wrong places. All right. But we all start out that way. That's the Captain Obvious in you. And we all start out this way. Okay. I started out that way too. All right. But I learned over time. Okay. I also drew a channel on a dollar to compare it as a counter trend. Okay, you were willing to hold it. Okay, well, some people are going to be more aggressive, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just understand that the risk you took was you could have broken even, or if you stayed in even from there, you could have taken a 100-point loss. Those are your other possibilities, okay? But it went to the target, great. Nothing wrong with that. Just understand the other possibilities that could have happened, because again, this is a random game we're playing here. People, again, is there some kind of skill? You must know some kind of special blah, blah, blah. Market is random. That's what I know. Okay. But the channel, see the channel to the dollar index, that's kind of a waste of your time. But speaking of the dollar index, let's take a look. You're just putting unnecessary layers of complexity. you don't need to look at the dollar index. Okay. For Bitcoin, not on an intraday basis. Again, you're grasping for control. I'm looking at the 5-minute chart. I might use my 30-minute to get a game plan together, and then that's it. Then it's the 5-minute chart. You don't see me grasping for control anywhere else. Okay, you don't need it. You're looking for that, but I'm telling you, you're wasting your time. Okay, you're not going to listen to me. That's okay, but you'll eventually find out. So let's talk about the dollar index, because I am short the euro. All right, and the dollar index started out okay here, and now look, we have this little conflicting situation going on. That's the bigger picture on the dollar index. Now, it never came to this resistance, which is what I was anticipating, but at least, we haven't gotten the straight line. Okay, no problem. But this right here, while this is conflicting, I'm still going to give the euro a chance, because again, we're talking about a swing trade now, and this thing can easily reverse and turn into a pin bar. So I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna take the chance on the euro. If this thing is a sell signal, this is a conflicting signal. I'm just letting you know, Stian, I'm letting you know, it is a conflicting signal, right? So it's possible that this thing can go right back to the low and test that low. That is a potential lower high that we're facing. Okay, so if that sticks and we test the low, that euro trade that we're in is probably going to stop out. All right, or at least go right back to break even and give us a hard time. I'm willing to take the chance on the euro. All right, because I'm going with the bigger picture trend on the dollar, and the bigger picture trend, as we know, is bullish. So just because we get a little turning point there doesn't mean that we're in some kind of bearish situation with the dollar. Does that make sense? So euro and dollar, that's another story. I mean, the euro and dollar are inverse. So whatever the dollar does, the euro is going to do the opposite, and that's why I'm in that euro short. Okay, so we'll see how that plays out. That's the dollar. Let's jump over real quick to euro, right? Let's talk about that, and then I'll wrap this up. Man, I always think I'm going to wrap this up early, and I still talk for the same amount of time. But we're watching this Bitcoin. It's interesting. So anyway, all right, and I'm not going to short this right now. So here, let's look at the euro. Right, so that euro trade. Oh, so the euro doesn't look even as bad. Right now, this is the euro. Right, took the short based on this situation here. Right, 103.30. Where are we right now? 102.80. It's still, the trade is still decently green by at least 50 pips. That's not bad. It was worth 100 pips at one point. Gave some back. All right, look, that's going to happen. But I'm willing to take the chance. This can turn into a continuation pattern. So again, these are going to be the choices, Stian. If this thing closes like this and takes out the high, you have the option to break even, right? Mitigate your risk. You can leave the stop where it is and take 100 pips of loss, or whatever the stop is. It's something like that, or you can give the whole thing, that's giving it a chance. Or this thing closes like this, next candle turns red, opens red, and just takes out the low again, which then it will be in good shape if it can do something like that. I'm willing to give it the chance, right? And you say, well, why? This thing's bullish. Look at this. That's a higher low. It might be, but I still think it's temporary. Okay. In light of the dollar situation, I mean, look at this, right? This movement does not constitute a bullish trend. It's just a short squeeze. We're still in a resistance area, so I'm going to give it a chance. Playing the bigger picture game is not exactly the same as playing the smaller picture game. With the bigger picture, you have to be a little more flexible. All right. And of course, I'm sized properly. So if the bigger picture doesn't work out, okay, I'm sized properly. I'm not going to lose 5% of my account or anything like that. Right. Whereas with Bitcoin, the problem with day trades is usually you're using more leverage, which makes sense on a smaller time frame. So you have to be a little more scrutinizing. You have to be a little more nimble and be less. You have to have a very open mind, but you also have to be very decisive at points. It's a very hard balance. It's not something I can teach. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Check again. Oh, so there's something wrong with my dollar chart, you're saying? It must be whoever's feed I'm using there. All right. So who's this? Currency? Who is this? Oh, TradingView. Okay. So you're saying that there's no sell signal there? Maybe I should find another dollar index. Let's see. Let's just see real quick. Who else can I look at here? Capital.com. Okay. Oh, all right. There we go. So there. So that could turn into a sell signal, right? You're right. Thank you for pointing that out. It's not a sell signal yet. It's a potential sell signal. All right, so we'll see how that goes. Thank you for pointing that out. All right, we were on the Euro chart, which, I mean, it's the exact inverse on the Euro chart. Okay, from 0 to 1, first it bounced off 618, and then BTC. Okay, well, you're okay. Well, you're using the fibs and stuff. Again, you're looking for precision. I don't use the fibs for that. I mean, you can, but I like to use them for when there's nothing on the roadmap, when there's nothing I can see, and I want some reference points. Then you can use that for extensions. Also, I mean, I do like, you can use the 382 at times for just an extra layer of confidence, if you want to call it that. But as you can see, I don't even draw them on here. I don't draw them because they're really not necessary. Okay, most of the time I'm looking at price structure and price action and levels. And that's it. Okay, nothing else. So anything else that you add on top of that, just kind of, it's not really necessary. Okay, like when it comes, my training program covers 6 steps, and you only really need 4 of them. When it comes to day trades, you really only need like 3 of them. All right, less is more. I cannot emphasize that enough. All right, so with that being said, I mean, look, this Bitcoin thing is fooling around at that target area. I'm not doing anything with that here. I'm not going to buy it there. I'm not going to short it there. Just going to leave it alone. Okay, as far as another long, you want to at least see a support level, or you want to see this thing get cleared and then retest. That could be a possible long, but there's nothing to do here right now. Again, like I said, as we get closer and closer to Thursday, things are probably going to get less and less eventful. I mean, look, no one's even watching my stream. So, I mean, that usually I have at least 20 people here, okay, which is still nothing, but you know what I'm saying. So please keep that in mind. All right, people. So again, if you like to learn more about my training, go to markpremarkets.com. You could learn about it there. I have all these bundles and things available in the Discord server. If you go there, you can actually, it's possible to get my training for like 1/3 the value if you buy the Signal service on top of that. It's a nice bundle. Again, if you want the whole package, and there's a lot of value there. So you can consider that as well. All right. So check all the links in the description portion if you're interested in any of these things. Otherwise, if you'd like to reach out to me, you know where to find me. Go to the Discord channel, best place, and send me a message there, because you'll get the fastest response there. Otherwise, you can always send me an email at mark@markpremarkets.com. That's a little slower as far as response time, but I'll eventually get back to you there as well. All right. So everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you got some value out of this stream. Enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, wherever you are in the world, and thank you for watching. Oh yeah, hold on. By the way, before I turn this thing off, tomorrow is Wednesday. I'm not going to stream tomorrow. I have my student meeting. I knew I had to mention something. I have my student meeting tomorrow. All right, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I forget what time I set it for. There's a link in the Learner channel. If you are a student, go to the Learner channel. Find the link in there. You have to scroll up a little bit, find the link, and register for the meeting. I need to see who's coming to that, okay? It's only for students, previous students and current students. We're going to review the material. It's basically like a small group session where you can ask me any question you want about the material, the training material in particular. I'm not going to do this stream tomorrow, okay? My normal 9:30, I'm going to say it again. I'm not going to stream tomorrow or Thursday or Friday. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a message in the YouTube, what do you call it, feed thing. I can put like a message in there. I'm going to put that in there as well. I am not streaming tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday. Okay, so please remember that, guys. Oh, how come he's not streaming? I'm explaining to you right now. I'm not streaming tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday. All right, everyone. So Han, wait, because Han, because you know why? Han, you don't. Right. I have to give you the permission. You're still locked out. I have to send you an email about that, because basically you have to re-register. You have to, because your payment thing is not going through. All that's not going through. I just don't want to talk about that here, because then hackers hear that, and then they're going to probably message you before me. So I'm going to send you an email. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So I'm going to send you an email about that, Han. I'm not going to talk about that on the server, because a fake me may contact you instead. All right. So anyway, I'll send you an email with the information, and then I'll give you the permission. Once you put the thing through, I'll give you the permission, and you'll see the link, and you'll be able to register. Okay, I definitely want you to be part of that. All right, so everyone, so we're all clear. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your evening, and then thank you for watching. Enjoy your holiday too. Thanks for watching.